Hi there, my name is Will Cullen. I'm a Guild-certified Feldenkrais practitioner with the Feldenkrais Guild of North America. And I'm here to speak with you today about movement and about social dancing and about some of the overlaps that I've discovered in those two fields in my past, almost 20 years as a social dancer and in my time as a movement practitioner and as a performance artist. One of the things that I find really interesting about social dance, I began square dancing when I was about 14 to 16 years old. My mother and I started square dancing, and then we went to workshops in South Carolina. I went on to become a square dance caller and danced in clubs in Toronto and then in the west side of Kelowna. And what I found interesting about square dancing in my time is the freedom with which people have to explore and to make mistakes without feeling that they're made to feel unsafe, that they're inconveniencing others. In the majority of square dance clubs that I've been a part of, making mistakes is encouraged. It's made fun of in a very positive, lighthearted manner. People don't shame you for making mistakes in the same way that they do in several other social or movement-based practices. And so people feel that they can take their own time learning as they go. One of the other interesting things that I've noticed about it is its ability to assist people that may struggle with either social interaction, with touch, or both. When I was at what the square dancers refer to as a roundup in Toronto, which is a huge conglomeration of square dancers from square dance clubs across Ontario and many places of Germany that sent their square dancers over to Ontario as well for this event. Um, I discovered many people that didn't feel like they were able to interact socially on a regular basis in what they would judge as a normal capacity. So they didn't feel like it was within their wheelhouse to go out to a church group or to a sporting event, but they felt comfortable coming to a square dance conference. Part of this that I was discussing with a gentleman who suffered severely from low functioning autism Asperger's and felt that he needed a lot of support and a lot of structure in order to leave his home. He approached square dancing because there were very specific codified rules around how to touch and when to touch. So in square dance, the left and right positions have position-specific handholds. The boy's position, which is usually on the left-hand side of the couple, holds their hand up. The girl's position, which is usually on the right-hand side of the couple, holds their hand down. Everything from that to knowing when to grab hands, knowing when to touch his partner's small of their back, knowing how to swing the partner, which is a motion that brings the dancer's same sides together, usually the right side, and then swings about in a ballroom pose. Everything about knowing how and when to touch his partner gave him a sense of comfort in interacting with other people physically, which he hadn't felt for the majority of his life. Additionally, because the square dance move sets are all available online, this learner could explore the square dance move sets in the comfort of his own home. He could use animations of the move sets, look at different choreographic setups for formations, and essentially figure out everything that he would need to know in order to function successfully at the square dance conference independently. So in this, I see some overlaps between social dancing and awareness through movement, that there's a comfort that is built through listening and through um, previous exploration of movements, that there is a comfort with other individuals that is promoted as being safe and being okay, that there's a specific set of ways in which to touch that are deemed safe culturally and socially by that group. And some of those are not as direct overlaps. In awareness through movement, there's not a lot of touching one another, but there is a lot of exploring with the self within a set of predefined constraints. The other overlap that I see is with relation to sense of self in the space or sense of self in the world. So in awareness through movement, a lot of what we're dealing with is orienting ourselves in space and analyzing in different orientations where various landmarks are. If we're lying on the ground, it's important to have an imagistic understanding of whether the floor is behind us versus below us. If we're sitting, it's important to have an understanding of whether the ceiling is in the direction of forward or in the direction of up. If we are on all fours, it's good to know whether the wall in front of us is in the direction of forward or in the direction of up. In square dance terms, this translates a lot into what they're looking at with when they're facing particular walls, which hand they're using at any particular times, and which paths they're taking either with their partner or around their partner. So awareness of where the other people are in space, where you are in space, and how the paths that the moves draw through space bring the dancer from one position to another creates an image of a path for the dancer. One of the interesting things that I've been noticing as I've been getting back into square dancing and working to become a square dance caller again is that there's an expectation that's set up neurologically when a dancer begins to execute the same sequence of movements the same way each time. If a do-si-do for the dancer's experience always ends by stepping to an ocean wave, then you have dancers that begin stepping to an ocean wave before they've even finished do-si-doing. So having the ability to remain receptive to what is and to attend to and listen to what's happening with the other dancers, with the caller, and with yourself is very similar to attending to ourselves in a movement-based exploration rather than letting it become exercise. And seeing whether we're actually attending to what we're doing in the moment or if we've allowed our movements to become rote, if we've begun a series of repetitions, or if we've begun engaging with our movement thoughtlessly. So that's some of the overlaps that I've been examining. In the future, what I'm hoping to do with square dancers is have a look at their left and their right sides and see if I can help, through movement exploration, create a distinction between the left side and the right side that can promote an instinctual understanding, so that when the square dance caller asks for swing through as opposed to a left swing through, that there's an instinctual understanding that this is my left and this is my right because they feel different and because I have a different sensation of them. This feeling of safety in learning is something that I want to loop back to before I finish this discussion here. One of the things that I think is interesting about that is what can happen when one doesn't feel safe to learn, or when one feels detached or separated from their community or from a sense of integration as a result of fear or of anxiety. One of my colleagues through square dancing recently revealed to me that he's been having a difficulty in his family that has caused him to feel very isolated, that parts of his family have splintered from him in a particular way that has left him alone in his home, and that state has been happening for a number of years now. He also shared with me that over the course of the past 3 years, he's found himself landing in the hospital with dizziness, chest tightening, and other heart attack-like symptoms when there's nothing physiologically wrong with his major organs that the hospitals can find. According to the doctors, he has the organs of a 19-year-old. The only thing they can explain the periods of hospitalization with is some kind of psychosomatic stress as a result of something happening in his social life. And as I mentioned, he shared that most of his family has splintered away from him, leaving him alone in a home for the past 3 years. Now, about 4 to 6 months ago, that man joined a square dance club, and every week he got to come to a place where people would hug him and welcome him. He got to go to a place where he could feel safe being held and holding other people. He got to go to a place where he could hold someone else's hand and feel safe having his hand held. And, like the man that I met with autism Asperger's at the Roundup in Toronto, the conference, he arrived at a place where he could make mistakes and feel safe doing so, and where the people there would welcome him to engage with them on a physical level in a way that is socially codified. So he felt safe to engage with these other humans in a pleasurable social activity that is collaborative, that is communal, and in which he felt like a valued member. I'm proud to say that that man has not been back to the hospital once since, and I think that everyone in the Square Dance Club is a part of that, because we've helped to promote a safety for his nervous system that had at some point been stolen, that he had been condemned to a feeling of anxiety and insecurity and fear, and that through social reintegration, through connection with other human beings and collaboration on a like-minded task, that he was able to come out of that to a place closer to homeostasis. I think that's my brain plumbed on social dance and Feldenkrais for the moment. And next time I'm going to return to some of the discussion I was having in the More Than Meat series and look a little bit at strategies that we might use to keep ourselves healthy and stable when we find ourselves in situations that decompose us, for lack of a better word. Thank you for listening. Please, if you haven't yet, claim your free quest at www.kineticquest.ca and join us for a movement quest. My goal is to help people who want to change find the means within themselves to emerge into a power that you might not have thought possible, but was always there within you. Thank you for listening. Please like, follow, share, subscribe, all those fun things. Have a great day.